Hello and welcome to Camp Life Bushcraft. So I've got something to show you, and this is the Ice Flame down quilt. Now I poo-pooed this in a video I made about this, which is the One Tigris down blanket. A friend of mine has one of these and I've always looked at it and thought, it's pretty pointless. But my friend Colin from Outdoor Gear Essentials, he saw my video and he sells these on his website, and he said to me, you can have one because I want you to see how great it is. And I'm not going to turn that down, so I accepted and I took it out on a challenge. So I took this to Dartmoor for 3 days, and Dartmoor is a really unforgiving place, and it's cold even in the summertime at night, and it's windy and it can be pretty horrendous. So I've got some footage from that to show you, but before we get to that, I'm just going to get this out and we'll talk details. The short version is, I was wrong. This is really good. Now you can buy these from somewhere like AliExpress, and they come from China and they take about 3 months to arrive, and by that time you've forgotten you've ordered it. And Outdoor Gear Essentials is a British seller. He's based in Bognor Regis, and he keeps a stock of these as well as his other gear that he sells. And because he's a British seller and he keeps his in stock, he offers a next day delivery on these sorts of things. They're tracked. He does eco-friendly packaging. He's, an email away from, giving you advice. You can talk to Colin, and he's a really sound guy. So, I kind of feel like I want to give him a bit of a plug, and and he didn't have to give me this. As I say, I'd sort of bad-mouthed it and said it's a pointless thing, and I thought it was quite funny that he said, "Oh, I've got them, and I want you to have one, and you can see how good it is for yourself." So thanks, Colin. Really appreciate that. So let's get this out and have a look at it. I suppose before I get it out though, let's put it on scales in its packaging, because one of the specs for this is it says it weighs approximately 650 grams. So that, including its packaging, is 685 grams. And just to compare, the One Tigris blanket, which I don't believe to be as good, is 737. So this one is lighter than this one. And arguably, pack-wise, this one is slightly bigger. But I think that's just the nature of its stuff sack, because this one is tight in. You can't do a lot else with it. It's in a compression sack. And this one, really does squash down. So I think pretty much the same size. But this particular one is size large. They do a medium as well, I believe. But the large size is 198 centimeters by 130 centimeters. And it contains 385 grams of down filling, 90% of which is white duck down, which gives you the 700 fill power. The inner and the outer are made of 20D nylon, and this is comfort rated for between 5 and 15 degrees. So here it is, offering the same thing that the One Tigris one offers, which is just purely using it as a blanket in hot weather. Where this one differs is what you can do with it, because yes, it's a blanket, but as I learned on my trip to a freezing cold Dartmoor, was you can turn it into a sleeping bag. So you've got a small zip at the foot end, right? So you can zip it up to there, and it's not massive, maybe 1.5 to 2 foot, and then you've got a draw cord here, so you can cinch that up, and you can effectively create a foot box, which is going to help for keeping them tootsies warm. And then you've got these little clasps here, just clasp together. I'll get it in like that, and that you can do them up all the way to your head end, so you can give yourself what is effectively become a proper sleeping bag. If you're worried about there being a gap here, there's also a second one further round, so you can create a smaller space. There we go, with a kind of overlapping baffled effect all the way up. So that again is a third option for when it gets even colder. You get less space in here, but that's probably a good thing when it's very cold. And this, you know, it doesn't half fluff up. It's really good. And if you're very cold, you've got drawstring at this end, so you can cinch yourself in around your neck. And that then, you know, becomes so much more than just a blanket. And this is comfort rated to 5 to 15 degrees. And I spent the time on Dartmoor and it was not much more than 5 degrees, and I was really genuinely concerned that this wasn't going to be enough, but it was. And we'll stop here and I'll show you the footage I took on Dartmoor, and you can see for yourself how pleased I was with it. Genuinely, you know, impressed was what I came away with. So yeah, have a look at that footage. Here we are on Dartmoor, and yeah, it's quite cold. It's going to be a thorough test of this ice flame. I'm here for 2 nights, so we will see how blooming cold I end up. Because I don't think I'd have brought that one Tigris one here. I don't think it would have coped, but this should be good down to sort of 5 degrees, because I can cinch up the ends and all, which I think is what I'm going to do tonight. Because up here, I mean, we're only at 500 feet or something, but I am feeling the chill at the moment, and it's only, you know, 8 o'clock or something. So yeah, we'll have a look at bedtime, and then we'll report in the morning. And if I remember, we'll do a little report on day 2 as well. It has lofted up quite a lot, this, so I'm less worried than I was earlier. You can see that's lofted up pretty well, and it's, while it's not a perfect seal, that's okay, the footbox bit. So yeah, I'm a little bit more hopeful, and I'll let you know in the morning. So the report on the ice flame is that it's mighty impressive for what it is. I was bitterly cold last night, standing outside, and I got in my tent. I was wearing a t-shirt, a shirt, a thin fleece, a thicker fleece, and my down jacket, and I was cold. And when I got in my tent and I got in the ice flame, I got too hot and I had to take off. I took off my thicker fleece and I took off my jacket, but then I changed my mind and put my jacket back on because I was just feeling the cold on my shoulders and my arms where they were sticking out. But yeah, I put the jacket back on and just slept like this, you know, with my arms and top half sticking out the duvet, as it were. And yeah, I wasn't cold at all. Really impressed with it. And it fluffs up, this thing. It fluffs up massively. So yeah, really impressed with it so far. Yeah, for the pack size, and I've got some power. I've got loads more confidence in it. I was genuinely nervous last night about being really cold all night. And yeah, this thing has done me the power of good, it did. Yeah, got another night of testing to do before we deliver a proper verdict, but yeah, so far so very good. It was such a relief. Anyway, come back later. Give this ice flame its second test, but I don't have any issues. I don't have any worries about it tonight, because last night it was toasty and warm. Although last night I did get it out a lot earlier. I forgot tonight, and I'm going to bed now, so straight out the bag. But I do what I did last night: cinch it up, turn it into a sleeping bag. I think in the summer just throwing it over you is perfectly fine, but where I am today, again, you know, it's cold. The minute you sort of stop, it's chilly here. The wind really howls. Yeah, we're a bit exposed tonight. We're on Crow's tour, which is quite a blowy one. We'll see. So yeah, that is me ready for bed, and it fluffs up quite quick. But so I was see, fluffs up quite quick. I was mighty impressed with it last night. It was, you know, huge when I was in it. It was like, you know, a great big cocoon around me, which was very cool. But yes, enough talking. I will report in the morning, and then we'll go back to the house for conclusions. Well, good morning. So it's night 2 on Dartmoor, and the ice flame has performed again. I'm trying to think of something negative to say about it, because, you know, nothing's perfect, and I guess all I can think of is it's a bit slippery. I've been on a hill last night, and I got the non-slip mat under my sleeping pad, and I was sliding off my mat. The ice flame, you know, every time I moved I found that I was sliding down the tent, but it's not a big issue. I think most sleeping bags do that anyway. And you know, it's neither one thing nor the other at times. You know, it does cinch up like a sleeping bag, and that's how I've used it. But I guess the argument is, well, you might as well take a sleeping bag. But I guess it's for those sort of warmer weather trips where, you know, if the weather's nice, you would just literally throw it in like a blanket. But like here, we've come here, it's still summer, but the weather's turned nasty and a bit cold. Then you've got the option to go, right, I need a bit more, and, you know, cinch it up and get in it and get sort of full benefit. So, I mean, that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. So overall, I'd say I am really impressed, actually, really impressed. I was particularly worried about being cold, and I've not been cold. It's looked after me admirably. So, yeah, that's it. It's done well. Back to the house. So I think that footage really says it all. You know, this, I was amazed how warm I was with this. The one Tigris blanket, I took great pains to say in that video that that was a purely summer only thing, for when the weather is warm and you just want something to put over yourself. But I would trust this in spring, and I would trust this in autumn. So I would call this a 3-season thing. And the advice that they give is that, you know, survival rate for this is down to 0. So you could potentially, you know, sleep on a frosty morning with this. And if you've got a few clothes on, then I don't see that being an issue. I think you'd be just fine. There's also a couple of little attachments here, and you can get a strap, and so you can strap this to your sleeping pad so that you're properly cocooned. You know, where the gap is would be underneath your sleeping pad then, which I think is another nice feature. So you can create a complete cocoon with your blanket around your sleeping pad becomes part of it. And I think that's a really good option, and I think that would be the option for when the weather is very, very cold. I will take this out again on my next camping trip, and I will try that. I didn't get these straps in time for this, but they are on the way now. So next time I go on a camping trip, I'll take that and I'll take the straps and I'll just strap it up and show it to you in that. So that'll be in a few weeks' time. But I think that's a decent option too. So that's about it, I think. I'll put a link in the description to Cole's website. As I say, it's his new business. So if you are looking at getting camping gear, any sort of camping gear, maybe just go and visit his website, because, you know, it's good to support the British sellers. That's outdoorgearessentials.co.uk. I know he stocks, I say, the tiny pumps He does some head torches, he's got some tents. I think he's got the Lanshan 1 and 2 and also the Pro in stock. I think he's got some nature hike tents as well, which I have one of the nature hike tents, and they're pretty good, to be fair. I've also got Lanshan 2, which is okay. I'm not a big fan of that, but yeah, I really like the nature hike stuff. So yeah, go visit Colin's website, have a look what he's got to offer, and there might be something for you there. If you've got questions about any of the gear that he sells, drop him an email. You know, he's a really approachable guy. I'm not getting any commission for plugging his stuff, other than the fact that, you know, he sent me this, which was more him taking the piss out of me for poo-pooing it. But yeah, he's a good guy, so go give him some love. Thanks for watching. See you soon.